Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel and the Dragon Suplex Podcasting Network. What a cool few days it's been in the world of wrestling. Not really a big show to talk about, but a lot of interesting and fun things to talk about. Who put the D in DMD? We will find out, or we don't know. We don't know. But there seems to be a lot more backstage issues in AEW, baby. Should have been a manager, pal. Christian's childhood friend Edge has been guilty of the exact same thing, but I don't want to point any fingers. Maybe I'll point, two up in the air, kind of like Adam Cole does or something like that. I wasn't there in the alleged room, so I don't know what happened. I don't even know if Brad Maddox was in the room when it happened or if it did happen at all. I'm honestly just joking here. I hope it's not true. I hope this is just an odd rumor. Adam Cole says he's running shit when he gets back, so let's hope that this isn't true. Or maybe it'll motivate him. I don't know what's going on, but he is excited to return, and I'm excited for his return. I'm also excited for Logan Paul's return. Logan versus Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. I think that this was done pretty well. You got a crossover star who's famous for boxing on, and he's also famous for being on YouTube, so you promote it on YouTube like a boxing match would be promoted. It's simple. It's good. You did it in Vegas the same night as a big boxing fight. It's also smart to do it now because there is going to be the law of diminishing returns when it comes to Logan Paul. The more and more you have him wrestle, the more and more I think people are going to be curious to tune in. So have him against your biggest star now. Obviously have him lose. And obviously have him in a place where it doesn't matter how many tickets you sell because you're not worried about the backlash in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabian crowd, they're kind of like that Lucha Libre crowd. They're kind of like, the crowds you see at the local fairs or something like that. They're not a smart mark crowd. So the crowd isn't going to turn on it. You don't have to sell tickets like you do in America. This is the perfect situation, and it makes this Saudi Arabia event have a big fight feel. I don't know why people are shitting on it. I think they just see Logan Paul, and they're not excited about it. But Logan Paul literally had 4 million people watch him fight, and also sold out a stadium before. And I'm talking about pre-WWE. So now that you have him in WWE, I don't think WWE pay-per-views have 4 million viewers on Peacock. So he is technically a bigger star than your champion. How do you pull your champion to that level? You have him on Logan Paul's podcast, and you have that podcast promote a fight. And that fight is going to be Roman Reigns and Logan Paul at Crown Jewel. And this is big. This is fun. I'm excited for it. I'm more excited for it than whatever the hell else they could have done with Crown Jewel. Roman versus Drew again. Roman, or I don't know what they would do. I'm just bored as hell thinking about the ideas of it. But this is big. This is a spectacle event, and it's got a spectacle main event. And people are forgetting Logan Paul has killed it so far in his matches, teaming with The Miz versus the Mysterios at WrestleMania and at SummerSlam. So why not bring him over to Saudi Arabia? I bet he's going to get a kick out of being there. I bet his fans are going to watch. This guy has done 4 million views before on pay-per-view buys, 4 million pay-per-view buys. That's a big deal. WWE has done a lot of great stuff as of late. I like the Loomis stuff, and then this Bray Wyatt stuff is great. It's got to be Bray Wyatt. It's not anyone else. It's not Paul London. It's not Bad Bunny with the White Rabbit. It's not Adam Rose's bunny who was Sami Zayn dressed as a bunny. It's not Bunny from Butcher Blade and Bunny. It's no one but Bray Wyatt. Don't be fooled. Just like the Riddle and Rollins thing, they let what's cool about it leak on social media. They gave it a bit of a organic feel to this hype, playing the song during the commercial breaks. That also helps out the experience of going to a WWE live event because it is so boring going there while everything is dark during commercials. Do things like this, and that's actually the coolest thing in the event now is during the commercials. Who would have thought we would have said that 6 months ago? Also, that QR code is really cool. The QR code behind Theory when he was talking, and then it came out on the screen at 9:23, which apparently is when we're going to have this debut. I think Bray Wyatt's debuting on SmackDown at 9:23, which is this Friday. And I think that's a really, really good idea, this QR code thing. I had a teacher when I went to community college for a time who would ask people questions that she knew the answer to, because she knew that these students who, I'll admit a lot were younger than me, would want to answer it because they could Google the answer real quick. She knew that half of them were on their phones anyways, so in a way she was tricking them to become more involved and listen up more so than they would by getting them to do something that you already know they're going to do, which is be on their phones. So a lot of teachers are saying, put your phones away in class, put your phones away in class, kind of becoming the bad guy where, WWE was kind of falling victim to the phones. People were watching Raw just to stay on their phone on Twitter all the time. But here, Triple H and my former teacher has the same idea. They're going to be on their phones anyways. Get them to use their phones to help push the product you're trying to sell. It's genius. It's great. I love it. I love it, the idea of it. Continue doing it, Hunter. I'm going to be watching SmackDown. I don't usually watch SmackDown. I'm going to be watching Grand Slam. AEW Grand Slam is probably going to be really good. The card looks great. Unfortunately, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, so I can't really talk much about it without dating this show, but I can talk about AEW Rampage. Darby versus Matt Hardy. This is like a vintage AEW match. This feels like an AEW match. Like if there were AEW house shows, this would probably be a match on it. I'm excited for this. Darby marking Hardy with the fingers, hitting the swanton, no one home on the apron, Razor's Edge Liger Bomb from Hardy. That move looks sick. Unfortunately, he went up for another sick move, a moonsault, no one home there. Code Red, Darby Allin eventually gets the win, 1, 2, 3. House of Black attacks Hardy after the match. I'm glad they're continuing with House of Black without Malachi. I think they have a good little team here. Buddy Matthews and Brody King with Julia Hart, a good story that brings Julia Hart into this like cult thing. I think even without Malachi Black, they are cooler than Judgment Day, which is kind of what they're going to be compared to. Sammy Eddie Kingston for Grand Slam. That's interesting. Claudio versus Jericho at Grand Slam. That's even more interesting. Hangman promo. Rush shows up. Is AEW dropping the ball with Hangman Page? The post-title run Hangman Page? As bad as New Japan dropped the ball with the post-title run of Evil? I think they are. Looks that way. But hey, Jake Hager has a job still to this day. So even if you have a shitty title run and they don't know anything to do with you, you are still kind of up in that upper middle card for the rest of your career. Ricky Starks is great on the mic. No news there. Penelope Ford versus Willow Nightingale. I always love saying Penelope Ford the way Booker T said it that one time when he was talking about AEW. Penelope Ford. He did not know how to spell Penelope. Penelope licking Willow. I'm into that. Spine buster by Willow. 1, 2. Ford kicks out. Stunner. Ford kicks out. Pounce. Ford kicks out. Ford with the Muda lock. Willow taps out. Ethan Page and Danhausen both mocking each other in the early going. Ego's Edge. 1, 2, 3. I like this thing they're kind of doing with Ethan Page. I think it's got legs here where Ethan Page is just destroying all the comedy guys. One, because you know that all the comedy guys are his friends. If you ever see him in like Black Label Pro or even in Impact Wrestling toward the end, he kind of, he loves the comedy stuff, even though he's, a big guy, can talk. So you don't really want to put him in the comedy role. You want to kind of use him different than that. And, you get to bring up the trending indie stars like Luigi Primo up and use them on your television, but you don't have him, wrestle a full match. Kind of like, I'll say like the Warhorse heat. Like Cody Rhodes finally wrestled Warhorse, but people that didn't know who Warhorse were like, get the fuck away from here. Where Luigi Primo, you come out, he's spinning the pizza, people laugh, people groan, people roll their eyes, and then Ethan Page comes in and kicks their head in. So it's like a 2-second thing. You can gif it, you can do what you will with it, and you kind of are rewarding the audience who are kind of rolling their eyes with immediate satisfaction before they can grab their phone and start shitting on it. You're having, Ethan Page kind of be like the wrestler for them, and I think that crowd can gravitate toward Ethan Page because, he's got the size and he's good on the mic. Josh Woods versus Samoa Joe. No refs here for this ROH title match. ROH is slowly just becoming the equivalent of like 5 European titles in AEW. And they already have pretty much an AEW or European title with the AEW Transatlantic title. This is just getting ridiculous here. This match was great though. Forearms. Woods going after the arm of Joe, distracting the referee so Nice can go after the arm of Joe at ringside. Crowd behind Joe. Woods can't put Joe away though. Muscle buster. 1, 2, 3. Nice attacks Joe after the bell. Wardlow makes the save. Joe and Wardlow clink belts out of respect, looking like cool motherfuckers at the end of Rampage. I hope there's a little more to this because Wardlow has slowed down. He even brings it up in Dynamite. He brings up the fact that, his push is kind of slowed down a little bit. Joe, good on the mic, good at whatever you need him to do. Hopefully they do like a jealousy angle. We get rid of one of these ROH titles, merging it with the TNT title, because the TV title, the TNT title, it's like kind of the equivalent of one another. And you have Joe versus Wardlow, because I think much like the MJF promo, much like the MJF storyline and the Punk storyline, you use talkers to get Wardlow over because he's a good, intense promo, but he's not up there, upper echelon promo, getting butts and seats. But Joe is. Joe's one of the best talkers in the business, one of the best talkers ever. I'll put him in my top 25 talkers ever. And you have Joe and Wardlow, two big guys going at it, big meat slapping meat, like Big E says, if you know what I'm saying. And you can also have Joe cutting promos on Wardlow. Wardlow just screaming, it's Wardlow's world, taking the straps off and fucking knocking Joe out for the 1, 2, 3, merging the titles. But I'm just fantasy booking here, guys. Fly high, I'm out.